I feel like there's going to be this seismic shift slash change that's really going to disrupt things short term. There's going to be, while people are figuring out like, oh, what am I going to do for a living now? And jobs replaced or jobs eliminated. And during the short term of transition of people trying to learn new skills or do something different, it could be messy. There could be some high unemployment. Maybe you got to throw in some universal pay. I don't know. But this short term disruption messiness until we kind of get down further down the path to where we settle into the robots and the AI doing a lot of things. And now we've figured out kind of what we're going to do as humans and create new businesses. And maybe longer term, it settles in and the dust settles and things are okay. I don't know. What do you see?
All right, this is a whole nother podcast. We'll have to do
I
this
know,
one.
I know, I know.
I see, I see us continuing to like put band-aids on the problem and us having a Great Depression in 2030, where everything comes to a head and it cracks. Combination of aging population, living longer, me biosciences, just helping people live longer, increasing healthcare, our national debt, the activation of now, we're back into like the days of the Industrial Revolution, where you have, Hitler. This is actually Harari gave this in an interview recently, which I totally resonated with, which was Hitler couldn't have been possible without the Industrial Revolution. Mussolini and the USSR, CCP could not be possible without the Industrial Revolution. Now, we ended up okay, right? We ended up where democracy kind of won. And before Trump was elected, we had the most peaceful time ever recorded history. But now we see this return to control and dictatorship that's, I don't know if you're recognizing it, but it's coming very quickly across lots of different countries. And so we're at this time now where we're seeing the propensity for violence. You see in Gaza, you see in Ukraine, that that's probably going to increase. And if it does, again, that's going to be a massive impact to the world economy. And so we just see this as we're planning for it. We've been planning for it since the last Great Recession. And that 2030 is going to be this really cracking point. And I think AI is going to be like the straw that broke the camel's back for society to be able to deal with it. I don't think we're going to be able to just roll into like, okay, here's UBI for everybody to get through this, right? I think that's going to be a cracking point, and it's going to be tough times. So, prepare your mindset, prepare for, abundance but a different level of abundance. In other words, it will just look different, and prepare your children.
Yeah, we could do. Yeah, I need to have you back on the show to talk about this. I don't, people, when I talk to my friends, it's like, hey, listen, I don't want to sound like I'm not trying to be a doomsdayer. I'm not trying to be
No.
negative. I'm just pointing out, like, when you hear these stats, when people say 40% of the population jobs affected by AI, and that's just a prediction, who knows, it could be way more than that. I ask people, I'm like, just let that sink in. Like, just let that stat sink in for a minute. 40%. What is that? 3 billion people on the planet that all of a sudden need to transition to different jobs. Like, just let that sink in. To your point a second ago, it's a completely different world. That is a completely different world than we're living in right now. It's totally different. And moving at light speed, really moving at light speed. And you're right. You also said we're not ready for it. Like, just writing checks to people, just sending checks to people, may not solve all of that. Now, the good news is we're not on the gold standard, right? Now we can just print money whenever we want. So we'll just send checks to people to make them feel good, I guess. I don't know, but I do know this. And I could have you back on the show because I know we're going to run out of time and I want to talk about Flywheel Project. Here's what I know. The advice for the listeners. First of all, I'm going to bring JP back and we're going to talk about tech and AI and robots. So we'll do a whole nother show on that. But what JP said right there is the biggest advice I can give you. Do not be asleep at the wheel. Pay attention to what is going on and use these AI tools to your advantage for your businesses as fast as you can. And because if not, your competitors are going to. We're doing that with our recruiting firm. I mean, I still have the human element a little bit on the backside of recruiting. I'm still talking to finalists and putting my like, I want to meet this person. I want to talk to this person. But I'm using every AI tool I can to do the tactical pieces in the beginning and towards the middle to make it more efficient and faster, because I know my competitors are going to do the same thing. And the last thing I'll say on that is, if you're listening to this episode and you have not used ChatGPT, for example, or Bard or Copilot, like, you are behind. You better pay attention to what's going on.